If you would have told me I'd throw away my purity ring in the middle of an airport, my younger self would laugh, would never believe that it's against everything that we stood for. She'd hate that I smoked weed and cussed frequently, and she'd try to convert everyone I call a bestie. You'll throw shots in the dark and black out at a bar. There'll be good and there'll be bad parts. Someday you'll kiss a girl and you'll panic. Some guy will break your heart and you'll feel manic. Then you learn to let people have their opinions and talk about your traumas and like the body you live in. Someday you'll learn to keep your own secrets. Say you're doing okay and really mean it. You'll lose your faith and then you question if she's you. For a while you might not like her, but I do. Some days feel like whiplash 180s and you'll hate that you'll label yourself just to take it back. Convinced you're not bi cause you're way too into guys, and the first time you have sex you'll cry. You'll sometimes get meals and numb how you feel, and you'll miss the old you, but here's the deal. That good girl you were was really fucking bad at being real. Someday you'll kiss a girl and you'll panic. Some guy will break your heart and you'll feel manic. Then you learn to let people have their opinions and talk about your traumas and like the body you live in. Someday you'll learn to keep your own secrets. You say you're doing okay and really mean it. You'll lose your faith and then you question if she's you. And for a while you might not like her, but I do. You might not like her. 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 Someday you'll think you disappoint your parents, but they'll love you not despite, but regardless. And you'll learn to let people have shitty opinions and talk about your traumas and like the body you live in. Someday you'll learn to keep your secrets. Say you're doing okay and really mean it. You'll lose your faith and then you question if she's you. And for a while you might not like her, but I do.
What's going on, Consciouztv? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform, girl. We are coming to you loud, live, and in color on this wonderful Saturday. Hope you guys are having an extraordinary weekend. I cannot say that it's been the same for transgender teen Chad Sanford, girl. We're going to get into it. This is a highly requested video. You guys tagged me all up and through Instagram and social media to report on this here story. I have to be in the mood to talk about circumstances and situations like this. This is why I sparsely report on mass shootings, police brutality, etc., because it's so perpetual that there's nothing new to really say about it. You know, you just end up sounding like a fucking broken record. Nonetheless, we gotta get into it and we gotta talk about it. And I'll be damned if when I was creating the live stream for this here video or this here live stream, I saw a crazy ass post from Queen Tulsa. You guys know our residential Queen Tulsa, baby, who was attacked this weekend as well in a hotel lobby by a clerk. Okay. So we're also going to be getting into her situation, child. It's a lot going on. When I tell you that LGBT queer hate is at an all-time high, that trans hate is at an all-time high, that same gender loving male, female is at an all-time high, baby. Non-binary, baby. That ain't nothing changed for those of us on the ground level, baby. We're still surviving cis hetero supremacy. Okay? Before we get into the minutia of this here dialogue, you guys already know what I need you all to do, which is to thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up this video. Please thumb up as you come into the sanctuary. Slide your old thumb up there and hit that like button. This helps with YouTube's algorithm. It helps them to give the platform free for promotion and allows us to continue to grow the kingdom over here. Speaking of growth, welcome to all new subbies, girl. We went from that 33.8 to the 33.9. So you guys thumbing up, thumbing up, thumbing up, thumbing up, thumbing up is working and effective. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, because if I like it, you're going to absolutely love it here. You definitely need to make sure that you have your notification bell set to all, because you never know what day or hour the king shall be kinging. And if you don't mind, please share this stream out and let them know that your favorite content creator is contenting. With no further ado, let's push the fuck on through. Oh.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Robin, aka Power Bottom, aka Super Soaker Throater, aka my good friend Reckless Logic? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Doing really
Girl,
well.
all right. Girl, you sleeping mighty good on today. It must have been a long day of destroying the black nuclear family out here.
Shut up, dude. That is not. I've been asleep. That shit.
Let me go ahead and speak to everybody coming into the sanctuary. Hey, Roy, what's going on, Ro? Hey, Boo, what's going on? Shamanika, hey, Boo, what's going on? Virgo Love, hey, the Holistic Attorney. Hey, Bless Watkins, hey, Love, what's going on?
Hey, y'all.
Gamer, hey, Mary, what's going on? Lisa, hey, Jordana and the Missus, what's going on? Kiwana, what's going on? Corinthia. Hey, Bougie Barbie. Hey, Miss E. What's going on? What's going on, Lady D? Hi. What's going on, Taylor Mayer? What's going on, Love and Other Problems? What's going on, Sexy Slim, the goddess on period? What's going on, Anitra? What's going on, Deshaun? That ain't right. Why they do that to her evil freaking demons? Child, we're going to get into it, Deshaun. What's going on, Call Me Blessed? What's going on, Queen Everlasting? Hi, what's going on? Hey, Lady Lex. What's going on, Boo? Hey, T-Lore Alexis. Hi, Softer Side of CC. Hey, Reckless Logic. What's going on? Hey, so you guys know, as I said, this is a highly requested video, girl. We're just going to jump right into it because there's a lot going on. Also, me and Reckless are going to be jumping right into Patreon after this video. So those of you who in the Patreon, be looking for a post because we're going to be live in the Patreon. If you're not in the Patreon, all links to Patreon, emails, Cash App, PayPal, etc. are always in the description box, and they're always scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We're going to be going in Patreon to talk about this Houston, Texas CPS worker, okay, who was fired for encouraging a 14-year-old Black girl who was in the custody of CPS to prostitute for food. Girl, it's a lot of fuck shit going on in the earth, girl. When I tell you that the enemy is rampant, girl, the enemy, the inner me is rampant, girl, seeking whom it can devour, preying on all that can be preyed upon, all the vulnerable in the world, girl, the queer folk, the woman folk, the children folk, baby, all the vulnerable in the world are completely at the mercy, baby, of the enemy that dwells. The enemy that dwells in the enemy of motherfucking humans, girl, particularly patriarchal human motherfucking beings. It's a goddamn shame, okay? With no further ado, we're just going to get right on into everything. What's going on, T-Lounge? Hey, boo. Let me share my screen out, girl. We're going to get straight into it. This is an article. I'm going to show you guys the footage. A trigger warning, obviously. Okay. But first, we're going to get into an article, and then we're going to get into the footage, and I'm going to show you guys the brutal attack on this trans teen, okay? And this article is by LGBTQnation.com, okay? Once again, thumbs up this video, you guys, and please share this stream out, okay? LGBTQ Nation captions, a trans teen was brutally beaten on camera. It's the second time it has happened to her, okay? A transgender teen in South Florida was the victim of a second brutal anti-LGBTQ attack. Last year, a video of classmates beating sixth grader Chad Sanford drew national attention. A year later, Sanford, now 14, was again brutalized for being openly trans. Sanford says that a group of young people lured her out of her home on the pretext of hanging out. Once outdoors, Sanford said, quote, "They came behind me and jumped me." Video of the attack provided to Miami ABC affiliate WPLG by Sanford's grandmother shows three teens throwing Sanford to the ground at a neighborhood park and continuing to kick and punch her. Sanford said one of the assailants told her, quote, don't come around me with that gay shit. On Wednesday, Broward County deputies arrested two of the teenagers seen in the video on misdemeanor charges. Quote, 2 juveniles were arrested for simple battery and public orders crime prejudice. Public Information Officer Claudine Carroll wrote in a statement, quote, "The juveniles were transported to the Juvenile Assessment Center. The investigation is reportedly ongoing and could lead to more arrests as well as federal hate crime charges." Civil rights attorney and former prosecutor Melba Pearson, who now works for FIU's Center for Administration of Justice, says the teen should receive hate crime charges, but she doesn't think incarcerating Sanford's attackers will solve the problem. Quote, "I think they need counseling," she said. Quote, "I think they need to be held accountable, whether it be through community service, other aspects, but they need to learn that this behavior is wrong because they were taught this somehow. They didn't just wake up one day and decide to attack someone because they're transgender." Video of similar attack perpetrated against Sanford in the hallway of Deerfield Beach Middle School went viral last year. The video shows a classmate approach Sanford from behind and slam her to the ground as others surrounded her and cheer. Okay? Quote, "He just stepped on my face. They were kicking and spitting on me. And all of that was a little clip of the video," Sanford told local news at the time. Quote, "They were screaming. They were saying, 'We got that gay F word. We got that gay F word.'" Quote, "The school's leadership is taking up this incident seriously and is working with law enforcement in its investigation," a Broward County public school spokesperson told NBC Miami in a statement last year. Quote, "Any students involved will face appropriate school disciplinary consequences in accordance with the code book for student and conduct." But Sanford's grandmother and aunt were outraged at the school district's lack of response. Sanford no longer attends Deerfield Beach Middle School and has experienced self-deletion thoughts. My God, today. And here it is. Some of you motherfuckers had the audacity to be mad and angry and outraged at Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade for embracing their trans daughter. Because half the time, that love from mama and papa and the immediate family is really the only damn real love that most queer people are truly ever going to experience. Now, this is footage from it's on site. Okay, a lot of you tagged me in this footage. and you guys can turn up your volumes. I'm going to mute. If you guys can hear everything just fine in the chat, please put a 1 in the chat. I want to play this clip here, and trigger warning, the brutal attack is captured in this footage.
And the attack was also...
We can't hear it. Conscious.
Heard a knock on the door. 14-year-old Chad Sanford thought it was an invitation to hang out at this neighborhood park. Chad thought they were friends. What did they tell you as they were beating you?
Don't come around me with that gay shit.
You may remember we first met the LGBTQ teen just over a year ago. The then 13-year-old was beat up and body slammed at Deerfield Middle School as classmates yelled homophobic slurs. I spoke to Chad days later.
It's just sad because I want to do suicide.
Just let him live his life. Just let Chad be Chad.
Chad's grandmother, who asked us to hide her face, sent me this video. She says this is just the latest in a series of targeted attacks on Chad.
Guys was spitting on him on the bus and treating him any kind of way that because of his transgender in life or what he want to be. I'm just frustrated. They would have hit Chad the wrong way and something would have happened to Chad. What I'm supposed to do?
The Pompano Beach grandmother says it's difficult for her to watch this because it could have been so much worse.
It could have.
Fortunately, Chad was left only bruised up and scratched up. Chad's grandmother tells us she called the Broward County Sheriff's Office to report what happened. We are standing by for an update from BSO.
I'm gonna let that go again, you
the
guys.
attack was also cruel and vicious, and for some, the video may be difficult to watch.
I heard a knock on the door.
14-year-old Chad Sanford thought it was an invitation to hang out at this neighborhood park. Chad thought they were friends. What did they tell you as they were beating you?
Don't come around me with that gay shit.
You may remember we first met the LGBTQ teen just over a year ago. The then 13-year-old was beat up and body slammed at Deerfield Middle School as classmates yelled homophobic slurs. I spoke to Chad days later.
It's just sad because I want to do suicide.
Just let him live his life. Just let Chad be Chad.
Chad's grandmother, who asked us to hide her face, sent me this video. She says this is just the latest in a series of targeted attacks on Chad.
Guys was spitting on him on the bus and treating him any kind of way that because of his transgender in life or what he want to be. I'm just frustrated. They would have hit Chad the wrong way and something would have happened to Chad. What I'm supposed to do?
The Pompano Beach grandmother says it's difficult for her to watch this because it could have been so much worse.
It could have.
Fortunately, Chad was left only bruised up and scratched up. Chad's grandmother tells us she called the Broward County Sheriff's Office to report what happened. We are standing by for an update from BSO.
Okay, and E, in terms of the reporter saying fortunately, he is saying fortunately because Chad could have been dead. So the fact that Chad only came out like with some bruises makes unfortunately her lucky, you know, in a lot of ways, because they could have been reporting that she was murdered, as you know, so many trans women are being murdered, so many queer people are being murdered in general. And the fact that this is the second time that this trans woman has been publicly humiliated and publicly lynched against, that this happened to her at Deerfield Middle School, where she was jumped and lynched by a mob of kids, stepped on, stumped on, beat on, and then this same lynching was remanifested, and she was beat right outside of her home in a neighborhood park by a group of her peers, particularly her male peers in this case. This is why when you guys have trans women like Monica and trans women like One Love come onto the platform, this This is where the frustration comes from. This is why they speak with such passion. And some may even argue defensiveness, because this is what queer people are going through every day. Every day. Whether it's coming from the schoolyard, whether it's coming from inside of the home, whether it's coming from the church house, whether it's coming from the neighborhood, whether it's coming from just simply being at the grocery store, getting your carrots, putting your apples in a buggy, and got to worry about being called out of your name, trying to be intimidated out of spaces, etc. This is where that frustration comes from. To literally be targeted and viciously targeted constantly, damn near in every aspect of your life. And then to come from Black families that, on top of all of the social abuse you're enduring, want to double down on religiosity and also tell you that on top of people beating you, slapping you, threatening to take your life, misgendering you, calling you the F word, that God also hates you and you're going to burn in hell for the rest of your life. And then wonder why trans teens, queer youth are suffering profoundly from suicidal deletion, from self-deletion thoughts, self-deletion feelings, having self-deletion fantasies. And I don't want to hear nothing about all of the good people in the fucking world, all of the non-transphobic, non-queer phobic, because it's only queer people who be out here outraged when shit happened to queer folk. You do not have members of the dominant society who also occupy a microphone and a podium being outraged at this behavior. And I don't know about reckless, but I feel like, especially for queer youth, when they are assaulted by other underage trans and homophobes, not only should they pay the cost for the crime, but I feel like the sins of the children also should fall upon the parents, because I bet you these parents are start straightening up their motherfucking rhetoric in the household. I bet you when these parents understand that if they little delinquent, hard-headed, ignorant ass privileged children get out here and abuse and bully other minority children, that it'll come with the clank, that it'll be a different type of a situation going on in the household. I bet you there'll be some doubling down at the dinner table about the way that you better conduct your damn self when you outside of my damn presence. I bet not get a phone call or hear that you're out here harassing people because of their orientation or because of their gender identity, because mommy and daddy are going to be spending that 30 days in jail and paying that restitution and dealing with that criminal arrest record. Yeah, it's time to shake the motherfucking table, because that's really the only way that we're really going to combat this, because these kids who are getting out here hurting and victimizing and terrorizing queer youth, they're getting this indoctrination and getting these whistleblowers and getting this socialization directly from the home, directly from a transphobic, homophobic mother, a transphobic, homophobic father. Every time some shit come up on Pose, every time Uncle Clifford comes up on P-Valley, all type of disgusting homophobic and transphobic remarks are being made in front of the youth, in front of these teenagers. They take them to church and allow them to sit under a pastor who gonna double down on queerphobia and transphobia and homophobia. But then want to have no responsibility when these same children get out here and act the way they've been taught to act against queer youth, against queer people. No, ma'am. I feel like these two juveniles who were arrested, thank God, should have been arrested alongside their guardians, their legal guardians. Because I bet you we'll see a real slow decline in harassment and school bullying when these parents know that they're going to have to pay the piper for what their children do. I'm going to let Reckless step in here as it relates to this story. What are your thoughts, Reckless?
I have a few things. First things first, they said Deerfield Beach High Middle School. I went there. It's rough over there, as you guys can see. Let me say this. This is the fuck shit that we be talking about on these particular platforms. And this is the reason, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, warning. What I'm about to say is gonna be very, very reckless, and I don't give a fuck how anybody feel about it. Fuck them damn kids. This because this is the fuck shit that gets on my nerve. They deserve they ass whooped. They deserve they ass fucked up. They deserve they ass Sparta kicked in the chest. And then we sitting up here wondering why. And wondering why I didn't give a fuck that transgender cheerleader choked the shit out that little girl. People are tired of being fucked with. Yeah, her. I hope, and I'm not gonna lie. I hope she got a really good grip on her. Since your parents don't, since your parents don't want to teach your ass how to be respectful and understand that what you do is what you do and what I do is what I do, and you can't respect me, little bitch. Hold the fuck, nigga. Let me show you physically, because the whole thing behind it is that a lot of times too, we always try to go the respectful route, and it seemed like motherfuckers don't understand the respectful route. So allow me. God gave me the ability to be bilingual. So since me being respectful as in, yo, can you please respect me? Can you please respect me? Since that's not working, because people always want to talk about communication, effective communication. But however, you also need an effective comprehension as well too. Because there's something I always like to say, bitch, if I'm over here speaking English, but you understand Spanish, we never go get anywhere. So allow me to be like bilingual and choke the living shit out of you, because maybe that's the only language that you seem to understand. Now I understand we're not in a perfect world, and I understand the perfect society. You talk to people, they go along their way. But however, we do live in a world that uplifts and glorifies privileges that people do not want to actually address. And they think they can talk to people crazy, especially not knowing, and I would say knowing as well, that this same rhetoric is also the same rhetoric that queer people hear, melanated people hear, before there's a bullet between their forehead, between their eyebrows. So
I don't mean to interrupt you. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But I want to because I want you to speak to this right here. When you said that, you know, it's so funny how literally privileged people believe that they can say whatever the fuck they want to say to queer people, and that it's supposed to be good, safe, and deemed well. Remember when we covered Avari Medlock's situation, the cheerleader that you're speaking about, who allegedly, without no proof of evidence, allegedly strangled the 17-year-old cheermate who was attempting to bully her, and then she put her Uno card, and the motherfuckers was hiding in locker rooms and cabinets and shit. And so, well, I want us to look at the privilege of this comment section. Let's take a look at the privilege, because
let's get into
even the people, my comment section was so disgusting that people who even believed that Medlock was dead ass wrong had to say the comment section was even more damn disgusting, and the transphobia in the comment section was even more goddamn deplorable than the difference between Medlock and Miss Carly. Okay, hold on, let me. Where is my tab at? Transgender cheerleader. And, you know, I know these subjects be, they trigger up the privilege, girl, real bad. Let's read some of these comments here. Nope Rope says, laughing my ass off, not the black community making excuses for anti-queer behavior, but let mayonnaise 17-year-old say something racist. get in response. Child, the response will be so different. That's why the Black LGBT turn our noses toward a lot of y'all. Okay. Friday Wiggly says, as wrong as she was for choking that child, the transphobia and misgendering in these comments are gross. Okay. JS says, quote, the racist comment coming from the victim who was choked. There was no racist comment. Also, she called him a man after he called her out to fight. The transgender cheerleader has obvious problems with self-control, and here you all pretending not to notice. So the transphobia comments were made prior to them running for so-called safety, okay? And she asked them to come out and deal with her like young adults. Somebody says, if you disrespected my teenage daughter by choking her because she said words to you, I wouldn't come respectful. You'll get what you gave my child. Plus, I don't care what danks between your legs or how many layers of makeup you put on. Someone else said, an adult shouldn't put their hands on a child. Never, doesn't matter what you identify as. Okay, I want to find, well, where's the comments I'm looking for? Oh, here it is. These were the type of comments. Crystal Ross says, this child, okay, no, it's not child, it's teenager, stop the mess. Said nothing racist. She spoke the truth that the trans woman is a man and has a penis. It is not transphobic to state the fact. It's ignorant to continue to insist that speaking the truth is transphobic. So this is literally what privileged folk believe. They really believe that they have a right to tell trans people who they ain't, who they aren't, and then actually expect trans folk to deal with it with a Coke and a smile on their fucking face. They do not believe that saying in front of a trans woman about a trans woman to her face that she's not a woman, that she's not a she, is even transphobic. The dominant class would like to even define what homophobia and transphobia is. Where they do that at? That would be like men deciding what misogyny is. That would be like mayonnaise folk deciding what racism is. I'm sorry. As the privilege, as the villains in the situation, you don't get to decide what is homophobic or transphobic or misogynistic or racist even. But this literally, they believe it's their God-given right to disrespect trans folk to their face. She told the truth. She said nothing wrong. If you look at every comment, if you look at every comment section where this story was reported at, you get it in the droves that she said nothing wrong. She said nothing wrong. She said, and nothing wrong may lead to your loved one meeting the Lord sooner than later.
Yeah.
Saying nothing wrong. But mind you, it's even more shocking that our people, Black and brown people, have the nerve to agree with this type of rhetoric, because we are the same people who justify punching a motherfucker in the face for using the N-word.
Get into it.
Yeah, the same people who justify being physically triggered to put hands, feet, and paws on a non-melanated motherfucker for using the N-word, but then we'll sit in trans folk face and say, you should not be triggered, you should not be moved, you should not be inspired to whip my motherfucking ass because of what comes out of my mouth. When we completely embrace ass whipping a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the discrimination and the prejudice verbal shit that we experience. And this is why I always talk about, y'all always make the exception for queer people in all the wrong ways.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all want queer people to be completely okay with the abuse and the discrimination and the microaggressions and the motherfucking explicit bouts and expressions of homophobia and queerphobia and transphobia that we deal with, while wherever your minority intersection is, it's completely okay for you to react as a woman to misogyny. It's completely okay for you as a cis hetero Black person to have whatever reaction you're going to have a reaction to being called the N-word. But y'all want queer people to deal with all the disrespect, baby, and move on swiftly and professionally. not going to happen. But what do you say? Because you was just really getting at it. And this is why we call it cis hetero supremacy. You were just getting at it. You know, people literally want the right to disrespect queer folk and then want queer folk to take it in stride. Make it make sense.
Mm-hmm. And to be completely honest, my thing is, I wouldn't have no issue if that was the same philosophy that was going across the board. If the rules were the exact same and everybody played some of those exact, I would have no problem, because you're like, you know what? It's not you guys being it's not a hypocrisy. It's a way of life. So with that being said, I gotta play by the rules. People are gonna say what the fuck they want to say, but no one says anything when motherfucking cops start going upside motherfuckers' heads. No one says anything when motherfucking cops start going start saying what the fuck they want and letting power get to their motherfucking head, calling motherfuckers all different types of bitches, all different types of niggas, all different types of monkeys, all the different types of shit. All of a sudden we want to go on into the goddamn street and then goddamn protest. All of a sudden it's okay for you to put your hands on all the different types of people. But what happened to all the self-respect? What happened to all the restraint? What happened to all of the keeping all the peace? And you have to be able to articulate your words to prove a point. And this is the fuck shit I be talking about, especially when it comes down to middle-aged people, because once again, the car can go forward, it can go backwards. And a lot of times y'all excuse me, once again, if the shoe fit, put that bitch on and walk around in it, Cinderella. A lot of times y'all do not do the same. Y'all don't go by the same rules. Because once again, the car can go forward and go backwards. Y'all sitting up here talking about, it wasn't right, all these things. And I also think it's very motherfucking interesting how every time we get into the conversation about teaching queer history, teaching about sexual orientation, not about actual sex, but humanizing motherfuckers that actually still go to the goddamn school, humanizing motherfuckers you're going to see in society, humanizing and trying to actually offset the fuck shit that motherfuckers have sitting up there and actually put into the world, aka the church, aka massa. It's funny to me that a lot of times when it comes down to melanated people, we hate everything from the white man except for their motherfucking religion and practices, which is the reason why we weaponize motherfucking children. The first things first. And I also think it's very interesting too that people love to talk about the children are too young to be taught about sexuality. And I do understand that sex and children being in the same sentence can be triggering. But however, I need for y'all to really level up when it comes down to understanding. Level the fuck up. Obviously, we're not going to teach them about fucking. Obviously, we're not going to do that. But then again, weren't y'all the ones teaching children about fucking? Once again, it's the fuck shit. It's the hypocrisy. But even then, y'all sit there and say the children don't need to be learning about this at a very young age, but you have no motherfucking issue taking your child to a motherfucking church so he can learn homophobia. You have no problem taking your child to all these different types of places where they can be programmed and socialized to other queer people. And this is because it's all coming to me. Yes, hallelujah. Come on, it's coming to me. And this thing too, this is another example of what Conscious was talking about when marginalized groups mind their motherfucking business and the dominant society want to bring their stupid ass over there and fucking with people. As it said from the video, he was invited to she was invited to the park by the group of boys, young teenagers. I'm assuming she was the one tapped on her shoulder, said, "Hey, can you come to the park with us?" She was the one that ended up getting the actual blue slip and saying, we want to hang out. When she was minding her business. Y'all have no problem. Y'all have no issue with having, teaching that homophobia and having your children internalize the homophobia, because y'all also have this idea that, if he's homophobic, then guess what? He's 9 times he's not going to be gay. Or he's not going to like trans people. Or he's not going to become trans. This the fuck shit. That shit is annoying because I had a similar situation. That shit's fucking annoying. This is the passion that Country was talking about. What, One Love? This is the same passion, Monica. Because at least with One Love, she'll give you talking points and she'll debate you down. Monica just want war, okay? But this is the fuck shit that this is the reason why certain individuals keep being produced. When you want to deny the experiences, oh, you know, the homophobia is not really a thing anymore.
That shit triggers me up. The fact that I keep telling y'all, homophobia and transphobia ain't gone nowhere just because Lil Nas X is performing on the VMA stage, just because T.S. Madison is on a Beyonce track, and shout out to Baby Mother for getting that accolade because that's motherfucking major. Just because Janice Mock is able to interview with the Breakfast Club and write books, and Laverne Cox is able to play on Orange is Black, etc. That those trans and queer people, the Billy Porters, etc., they're protected by wealth. Their wealth allows them to control their proximity to queer phobia. But everyday queer folk living regular smuggler lives, commuting back and forth to work, living and mingling with regular smuggler society, nothing has changed for us. Nothing has changed. What's happening at the top, as above, has not become below yet. It hasn't trickled down below yet. This is why we be encouraging queer folk to bear arms. To bear arms. Bear arms. Bear arms.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going to gay pride and to bike week, go to the goddamn range. Okay? Point, pump, pull, trigger. Point, pump, and pull the damn trigger. Once again, point, pump, and pull the trigger. Right to bear arms. Because this is why that reporter said what he said at the end, which is, it's fortunate that all that Chad came out of this beating with was bruises and scratches, because she could have been another trans statistic. We would have been here holding a vigil if things had gone another way. In tandem with not only the trans and queer phobic juveniles in this case getting sentenced, they need to also start penalizing the parents of these children, of these juveniles, and also for trans persons who are old enough to bear arms, it's time for y'all to carry, because that's also how the narrative is going to change. It's a attempted transphobic attack was had on Chad, but 3 bodies were left in its wake. An attempted homophobic attack. Attempted, baby. When these narratives become attempted, baby, because queer folk is blowing the cap back off motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start changing the narratives. And for all of my teenage trans folk and queer folk, y'all need to be carrying mace, pocket knives, a laser. I don't give a damn what it is. Bow and arrow, a damn slingshot.
Bitch, the Hunger Games.
You need to be armed with something. And see, this is, and see, it's crazy because we keep trying to treat the symptom without treating the problem. It's going to have to start at the root, because y'all don't want queer nothing taught in school. Y'all want to be completely responsible for the education on LGBT things, but then y'all don't really want to do the educating, and then in not doing the educating, you get this poor grandmother who is the guardian of Chad, who doesn't understand Chad's dynamic with dominant society. So she didn't even think, or any of her own spider senses didn't go up when 14-year-old Chad left the house to go meet these so-called friends in a park, because had she been properly educated, she would have known to tell them motherfuckers, no, y'all can come to the house and chill with Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can come to the home and chill with Chad, that before I even allow Chad to go anywhere outside of my supervision with you all, I'm going to have to get to know you all myself.
Get into it.
She would have known to be more preventive. She would have known to be more protective of Chad. But because she's not properly educated about the severity of transphobia and queerphobia, particularly in the Black community, particularly in low-income Black communities, she is oblivious to the issue. She's oblivious to the dynamics of Chad's life and Chad's existence. So, which way y'all want to have it? Y'all don't want the school system teaching. Y'all don't want them educating nobody. Don't educate. I'm gonna do the educating, but then y'all also don't do the educating. And then if you're transphobic and you're homophobic, the only thing that you doubling down on is the transphobia and the homophobia. And then by you also being ignorant, you are completely removed from how even your own parenting and your own actions can indirectly put your queer child into the belly of the damn beast. This grandmother could have got a phone call that her trans granddaughter was dead in that park. And guess what? Her own ignorance would have contributed to the death and the murder of Chad, had that been what took place. Y'all have queer children. I need y'all to understand what Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle understands. Your children are hated. They're already hated in this matrix for being Black. The hate is quantified because they're also fucking queer. All the love and esteem and affirmation is going to have to come from you all in the house first and foremost. Because your child, your queer child, has no fighting chance in this world when they have to deal with hate when they step outside the house and then have to come home to a mother and a father and siblings who don't love them either. And then when these queer children hang themselves and off themselves and delete themselves, we scratching our heads.
They play, what? Why did they do that?
If you call yourself a Christian and you believe that LGBT liberation is a contradiction to your faith, baby, that's something that you're going to have to really double down and pray on. But your saving grace as a Christian parent, as it relates to LGBT issues and politics, is the fact that no matter whether people were sinners or saints, you never saw your Savior condemning people who went about their way. If you feel that you cannot have both your Christian values and also demonstrate love and affirmation to your queer children, it's because you're suffering from a religious supremacy. Because Christ damn sure knew how to have his values and his politics while also protecting folk who were not aligned with those politics. You didn't see him going around Bible thumping against people and being belligerent. You didn't see him allowing the Pharisees and the synagogue to treat the worldly woman in the temple like a worldly woman. He shielded her from the religious bigotry. You can have both things. You don't have a right to project and assert your religious philosophy on other people, especially when you allow your religious perception and philosophy to eclipse civil rights, which are basic human rights. Whether you agree with people practicing voodoo and hoodoo, whether you agree with people being queer or trans, it is their human right to still be afforded a dignified life experience irregardless. That's their human and civil right. So have your religious attitude, have your religious philosophy, while understanding that you don't get to hold someone hostage to your religious narrative. That at the end of the day, this is still a human being and one that you also claim to love. So you have the burden of doing just that, loving. Now, Queen Tulsa was also, as I'm getting this live together, I'm looking on my homepage and Queen fucking Tulsa writes a whole spiel on her community wall. Let's get into this shit here. Because y'all want to tell us that black folk ain't homophobia, baby. They ain't homophobic. They ain't transphobia, baby. That this is a thing of the past. Yeah, where? Let's go to Queen Tulsa's community feed. Queen Tulsa wrote 1 hour ago, I was attacked by a hotel staff member at this location for simply being trans. The female black at the counter started yelling at me as I didn't know I had to have a key to access the room. It's approximately 11 to 11:15. The lobby door was locked. I was confused, and before I was able to gain clarity, out comes this woman that yelled with a wooden pole, inviting me to the parking lot near my vehicle, stating she's going to beat my ass. I'm not a woman, and other slurs, such as the F word, wanna be a woman. I started recording her, and this went on about 10 minutes. The cops were called. I called at least 10 times. Then a big black guy with dreadlocks shows up and proceeded to tell me to come out of the lobby. I stayed, sir. I said, sir, she's got a wooden pole. I'm waiting on the police. Mind you, I'm recording this man who started to attack me. I'm not sure where I was hit as I blacked out. The police came and wrote me a citation. I got badge numbers, so court is in September. I'm not okay. Trans hate is real. I did nothing wrong. I didn't attack anyone. I didn't have any weapons. I didn't threaten anyone. Hashtag stay safe. Hashtag trans hate is real. Hashtag justice for Queen Tulsa. This is our own people. Our own black and brown people. Our own black women. Our own black men. But homophobia and transphobia is not what black people do. If you let the dominant society, as they have so many times, they will have us believe, baby, that homophobia and transphobia, queerphobia is a thing of the past, and that for whatever reason, everybody is just queer, encompassing, and loving. I have had to deal so many times on this platform in these panels with dominant folk coming up onto the platform telling us what the fuck is going on in the world, telling us what's not happening to us, telling us what we're not experiencing. And guess what? If Queen Tulsa would have been bearing arms, it wouldn't have mattered that a motherfucker bared a wooden pole or a motherfucker bared dreadlocks. Because both of them motherfuckers would have been on the floor. Because all I'm going to do at CTV is point, pump, and then pull the motherfucking trigger. Mm-hmm. By the time I call the police, I'm going to be calling for an ambulance of 2. You won't even need your handcuffs, officer. I'm going to drop the link.
Hold on, let me get tag me in.
You try me? Yeah. Tag.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop the link for y'all to come up and get into this, honey. Ahmad, if y'all in the chat, please rotate the StreamYard link for those who want to come up and share their thoughts on this situation.
Because let me tag y'all up real quick. Here, and just to go off some of the points that he said earlier, this is the stupid shit that I be talking about, that I be discussing. As in, you don't want to teach your children anything about queer people or trying to humanize queer people, all these things, and you want to be the one to teach these things. But then when you get your ignorant ass on this damn panel, once again, if the shoe fit, wear it, Cinderella. You get your ignorant ass on this damn panel. You cannot even make a distinction between gender, sex, gender expression, sexuality, all of those different things. But then we're supposed to trust your ignorant ass with educating? What sense does that make? Like, you know, I want to educate, but I just don't know the basics. Wrong answer. And also, too, I find it very interesting, especially when you brought up Queen Tulsa situation. Mm-hmm. I think it's very interesting how we love to get into conversations. Now, once again, if it fit, y'all wear it. We get into the conversation of whether or not trans women should be able to knock the living hell out of cis women. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm an equal opportunity. Anybody that starts it, if somebody decides to knock the hell out of you, that is your business. And the thing that I find very interesting is that a lot of people, cis women, they like to weaponize. Oh, you're a trans person. Okay, that's cool. You know that's a trans person. They know that's a trans person. So you need to back the fuck up out that trans person face and stop trying to act like you're going to do something to this trans person, because as soon as they hit you back, all of a sudden, you're going to be crying. All of a sudden, you're going to be, oh my God. And I think it's very interesting, too, a lot of times, is that as much as we sit up here, we try to demonize male people. We try to demonize, you know, the white people, white men, white women. But however, we use a lot of the same tactics. Because when it comes down to trans people, once again, if you're wearing it, when it comes down to trans people, especially trans women, and y'all start getting altercations, my cis women, don't act like y'all do not be sending out dog whistles to get these homophobic, transphobic ass niggas involved. Don't act like you don't do the whole thing. Oh my God, I'm a woman. But were you a woman when you was jumping in that trans woman's face? Were you a woman when you was sitting there disrespecting her? When all you had to do was be respectful. Were you a woman then? But once again, we hate the white man, but however, we keep their practices. We hate the white man, but yet we keep their mindsets. We hate the white man, but yet we utilize their power systems. We want to engage in transphobia, homophobia, misogyny, misandry, all this fuck shit, and they wonder why the fuck we can't come together for a goddamn protest or even a movement. Because whenever there's a woman involved, that misogyny wants to come out. Whenever there's a woman involved, that patriarchy comes out. Whenever there's a woman involved, all the fuck shit want to come out. When queer people are involved, all that homophobia and transphobia fuck shit want to come out. That's the reason why we can't fucking come together. And then on top of that, the whole thing when it comes down to the Queen Tulsa situation, this is just another prime example of how the fuck we be talking about when the fuck queer people speak, melanated queer people speak. You should shut the fuck up and listen. Yes, we have a community that also embodies and encompasses white melanated, white queer people. So yes, on paper, we have rights, but socially, we do not. And let's not act like, and plus, melanated people should know this. Let's not act like cops, law enforcement don't hold their own bias. Let's not act like lawmakers don't hold their own bias. But yet y'all are so educated when it comes down to social issues and think that you're so such an intellectual, in the words of Jay Lethal, but yet your ass can barely even scratch the motherfucking surface on social issues, and yet you sit up there making an ass of yourself. You sound stupid. Now, what Conscious said, he said it in a more nicer way. I'm gonna say it like this: if you Christian, you get down with that religion, fuck you. That's how I feel about it. Fuck you. Reason being is because the whole thing is very interesting to me is how, once again, like I'm gonna keep saying, we hate the white man, but yet we hold on to their religion, their version of religion. We hate the white man, but yet we keep their practices. We hate the white man, but however, use their same tactics as in weaponizing children. We use the same tactics as in trying to other marginalized groups, which is another reason why I always get very fucking irritated with melanated people, because keep in mind, I don't give a fuck what white people do. Bitch, you are my black brothers and sisters. So I'm going to hold you accountable because, bitch, I expect white people to not understand my experience because guess what? I'm black. I expect white people not to get it because guess what? They live in privilege. But you should know better. So yes, I'm coming to your front door and bitch, we finna have a conversation. So the thing is that's very crazy to me is that we like to use the same tactics of othering people, but yet we have a historical context of being othered. Melanated people weren't even considered human. They were considered property. So that's why I get irritated. That's why I get I can't even fucking talk right now. That's why I get so annoyed when melanated people come up here and try to call trans people it and freaks, because that's the same fucking tactic that Massa ass did to y'all, Mr. High Value men and women. That slavery ass fucking mentality and fucking rhetoric. That shit is stupid. Now, another thing too, y'all have lack of knowledge of the fucking Bible. Lack of fucking knowledge. You don't have a historical context. You don't, bitch, you barely got a biblical context. Bitch, you don't even have the real life context. And you're trying to weaponize something, make that your weapon of choice, but you don't even understand the shit to a full degree. But however, let's just be very clear. I know why. This comes from you at one point in time being in the state house. Now all of a sudden you up in the church house. And this is another fuck shit that I be talking about. It's the fact that when it comes down to queer, we're able to give empathy for me in particular. I'm gonna speak for myself. I always felt a way about the way that people treat people who have ever been in jail, who ever had felonies. And I feel like we should give them, have a better system to give them a better chance, especially if they already done the time, they already learned their lesson, especially knowing the history of melanated people getting falsely accused for crimes that they did not commit or overcharged. But however, these would be the same motherfuckers that end up in goddamn prison, sucking a little dick, getting saved. Hallelujah. But then go up into a church house and be the first ones to send me to hell. Bitch, I ain't do no drive-by on no women and children, but you did, but yet you sending me to hell? The fuck you think this is? The fuck you got going on? That don't make no sense. Now, I'm about to tiptoe onto my black man. This is the perfect opportunity for you to protect. Come on, where y'all at? The father not in the household. Come on, there's uncles and cousins. This is the perfect time for y'all to protect. Y'all want to hold on to that motherfucking title, but yet we don't see it demonstrated when it comes down to queer people, when it comes down to black women. We don't see it demonstrated. Where's the protection? The question is, why is the grandmother up here speaking? Where are the men speaking? Since you're supposed to be a motherfucking leader, where the men at? Y'all want to hold on to being a protector? Come on, protect, bitch. This is the fucking mixed signals that you pussy ass niggas want to sit up there and give out. Fucking bitches. Now let's also talk about this. Black men, whenever I know if I sound like a black man here, I don't give a fuck. It really irks my soul when they get up on this fucking panel because they've done it a plethora of times. Because keep in mind, I like to sit back and listen. A plethora of times and say statements like, I think that there's a divide between, black men and black women and black men in the queer community. Bitch, if there is a fucking divide, who the fuck created it? So you mean to tell me queer people were the ones sitting up there create a divide between black men? You mean to tell me queer people, especially the effeminate ones, was going around making a divide? So did we create the divide when we were called the F word? Did we create the divide when we were called T words, its and freaks? Were we created, did we create the divide when, you invite us to the park and you beat up on us? I'm confused. I'm trying to understand when is this motherfucking divide began. I'm trying to understand when this divide start to actually come into effect and who started it. Once again, we like to start from the branches and we like to start from the leaves. Nah, bitch. Leave that alone. Go to that root. Because last time I checked, queer people ain't create this divide. Black women did not create this divide. Now, this whole thing was Zaya Wade. This is the reason why we keep trying to tell you ignorant motherfuckers every single week. And this the shit that be killing me. This shit be killing me because every single week we have to come and have the same exact conversation about queer people, about black women, about black men, all this every single week. And I don't know about anybody else. I'll be watching the comments. I'm pretty sure everybody know. I'll be watching the comments and I see the same motherfuckers bring their ass up in Consciouztv live, sitting up there contesting, sitting up there not understanding, sitting up there sitting in their motherfucking privilege, and then wonder why we have the same issues going on. And then once they get on the panel, they get challenged intellectually. Then the last resort they want to do is, I think we're still learning. Bitch, you've been in this motherfucking live 6 times. At some point, you done learned enough. Now you need to implement it. You done learned enough. We're going to start with all this goddamn I'm learning. No, you need to fucking unlearn and understand that this conversation or certain conversation is not about you. When you're a parent, it's not about you. It's not about you. The same way I did on my live yesterday, and I put up that PowerPoint and talked about how a lot of people have the emphasis on the title of being a leader, but however we're going to fill in the context of being a parent and things always about them. No. It's not about you. It's about that child. As long as that child's not hurting nobody, as long as that child is not doing anything to nobody, then you need to keep your own personal feelings out of it. I want my child to be straight. You can't choose that, sis, bruh. You can't choose that. I want my child to have colored eyes and light skin. You can't choose that. And plus, when y'all do talk like that, that lets us know that yes, y'all may act like y'all are allies. Y'all may act like y'all are accepting. But however, that right there lets us know that you think that there's a problem. I have no problem with black people. I just don't want no black child. I have no problem with black people. I just don't want my child having a black boyfriend. I have no problem with black people. I just don't want my son to have a black daughter. That's the contradiction and the mixed signaling that you guys like to spit out. And that's fucking ignorant. That's it.
I'm triggered, so I'm gonna try to say little so that I don't go on an apocalyptic ballistic rant. E, welcome to the platform, darling. Your thoughts on the situation. And I agree with everything you just so eloquently and ratchetly laid out, Reckless. E, welcome to the platform, love. Your thoughts on...
Hey, Conscious. Hey, Reckless. So I remember when this conversation came up about Avery, or is it Avari? I can't remember how you pronounce it, but people took exception with the fact that I didn't have a problem with Avari responding in that way, especially when I mentioned that I work around children. And I saw some of that in the chat that day, and I'll make that brief and then I'll come into the point tonight. I didn't have a problem with it because when working around children, I've seen the way some of these teenagers respond to teachers and personnel staff at the schools. They can be very reckless at the mouth, very aggressive. There have been teachers who have been assaulted. So when I saw that instance of that, what it appeared to me as that, I don't remember how old Carly was, but it just seemed like she was poking the bear, and then the bear responded. I didn't have a problem with that. Now, this situation is a little bit different because, and I even put this in the chat. I mean, you can prove criminal intent. I mean, it was premeditated. You came to Chad's house. You pretended to be a friend. You lured Chad out of the house, and then you all attacked Chad. My issue with the video, and I know that they're minors, I do think that the footage should be unblurred. We should be able to see who these people are. And when you mentioned, I believe both of you mentioned the parents should be held accountable, and I had to think about that for a moment because I was thinking how I would respond as a parent in that situation. But ultimately, I do agree with you, Conscious, that if there were penalties for the parents, more parents would be more active in ensuring that their children were well behaved or more empathetic towards others.
Or
outside
at
of
least a well behaved. I can even take well behaved, Eve, because you know what? We live in a liberal society where folk have a right to believe and think how they want. I would never want people's thoughts and beliefs to be legislated, but I absolutely want people's behavior modified. You can feel how you want to feel and believe what you want to believe, but actually hurting and harming people based on your beliefs, absolutely unacceptable, especially in a so-called and alleged democracy.
For sure. And the reason why I like to stand in the middle and why I never call myself an ally, I just believe in being good to people and just being kind. I remember when my office, we brought on a transgender woman as one of our reps, and she started working there. And she was very vocal with the fact that she was trans, and so I didn't have a problem with that. But I remember there were two women on the staff who did make mention of it, and they did file a complaint, and they said they felt uncomfortable with this young lady using the same restroom as using the women's restroom, I'll say. And so the issue became, and this transgender woman, she said that she had her surgery, so she had a vagina, but she told the class that when she onboarded, she told everybody, and that was totally her right to do. But these two women still did not feel comfortable and did not want her using the restroom. Now that was a big slippery for me when I was managing that team, because it's like, we can't discriminate against anyone, and I'm listening to someone else saying that they feel uncomfortable, but in my mind, what do you really feel uncomfortable about? Because you would have had to have seen the restroom to understand. I didn't even go into the restroom, I went across the street. But the thing is, it becomes a something like nitpicking to me, and you really have to listen to people about what makes them feel uncomfortable about the whole idea. And I bring that up because it's similar to what we saw in that video with Chad. It's ganging up on and people not wanting to speak up when things when someone is being bullied, because eventually that young lady in the office and that trans woman, they did get into an altercation, and that trans woman was released from employment. But this had been a buildup over months, and the cisgender woman had allies, because as Black women, and I'll say this, we don't like to think about our sisters being beat up on, but then also we have to think about this trans woman, and she's one of one. And I always root for the underdogs, and I just felt, of course, we released the cisgender woman later, but the thing is, both of them should have been released at the same time, if you understand what I'm saying. So when I'm looking at this, I'm so happy that the chat looks better than what it looked like with Avery, because I think people see the humanity in children rather than, well, transgender children rather than transgender adults. Am I making sense, or am I still too far left? Okay.
Yeah, you make sense.
So in this instance, I do think, I know that we saw the video, the footage, the speaker said that they were recommending counseling. No, I think these people need to be in jail. I looked it up. Florida's hate crime bill does not include gender identity, but it does include sexual orientation. So we'll see what happens, but I think the overall thing is disturbing, and I think whoever Chad's father is, Chad's father needs to come forward because this grandmother needs help.
And by the way, I don't want to cut you off or anything like
No,
that.
go
But
ahead, I'll finish.
But here's the thing that gets. I lived in that area. Homophobia runs rampant. I went to school to Deerfield Beach Middle School. I went to school to Deerfield Beach High School. I graduated from there. I'm very much well versed in that particular area. Homophobia is very much rampant, and transphobia. But of course, you know, everybody's homophobic and transphobic until 3:00 at night. That's when the trade want to come. You know, everybody hate the gays and want to throw the Bible at us until they need a quick nut. But I guess. Alrighty, that's all I had to say. Who's next? Or are you done speaking, E?
Yes, I'm finished. Go ahead, Reckless. I'm sorry.
Okay. Come on, Chocolate Earth. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. I think I might go last because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm pissed and I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Yes, I don't have to be trans. I don't have to be gay. I don't have to be any of those things to be upset that someone would lure a child outside to beat them up because they are different. We have been going through this for years, so it's not like it's new. And then I'm called crazy because I say we need to protect our own. We need to build our own schools. We need to build our own communities when there's plenty of fucking space. But I'm crazy. I'm trying to build a Black utopia. No, I'm trying to make it safe for the people who need protected. Because as a heterosexual woman, I know ain't no Black man protecting me except my baby brother. If a man can walk up to a woman and rub shit in her face and we don't come together and change, if we can continue to watch where we hear about women passing every day, we can hear about children being trafficked, Black children, by the way, young boys and young girls, whether they're trans, whether they're queer, it doesn't matter because Black children are a commodity, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't care what nobody say to me tonight, so let's go. Because unless you really talking about change or you want to sit up here and judge someone because they're different, because they choose to identify in a different way, we are fucking past that. And like I said, whether anybody pays attention or not, I watch what's happening in the world, and baby, it ain't just us. Black folks catching hell all over, but men standing up, swinging their dicks in a country where we have the freedom to say what we gotta say, and we still killing each other. We still taking each other out. Y'all want to be stuck in these old ways and go, well, it ain't my business, it ain't my problem. No. I got to live my life, whatever the Creator say. You have choice. You have the ability to make change. So I'll be that crazy one. Because there is no one protecting us. The minorities of the Black community are not being protected, and we know it. Our children have been bullied. We move to different areas. We take our Black children and put them in white schools, and then what happens? Then we sit back and we pretend like we don't have these same issues at work. We don't have these same issues walking down the street, just fucking existing. And for anybody to open their mouth and say, you better than somebody else because they're different, who the fuck are you?
Wait,
so I'll wait my turn again. That's all I got to say for now.
Allow me, I'm sorry because, you know, I'm kind of on it. So if I say something that's going to be offensive, I'm so sorry to y'all right now. Jade Fox, let me tell your late trap, ugly pussy ass something. Don't bring your ass into this motherfucking conversation trying to completely distract the point of what we're making. Talking about anyhow. Anyway, how are we sure that this person was beaten for being trans? What other reason would they be beaten up for? That's the question. That's the question I have for you, Jade.
I'm sorry, Reckless. I'm about to ask this question. Why do you care? Who the fuck are you and what you gonna do about it? It doesn't matter why. This is why we are where we are. This is why Black folks are still broke. This is why we don't own shit, have shit, do shit, but run our mouths. It doesn't matter. It's a child. What's wrong with you? If you ain't gonna do shit, get out the way, shut your mouth. Everybody's opinion don't matter. And that's the truth.
I don't think Jade
Okay,
was
I'm
here
so
for the.
sorry.
No,
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I don't think Jade was here for the beginning to see that video because she said how.
Hold on.
Chad's
I'm gonna let it
grandmother,
run
who
again.
asked us to hide her face, sent me this video. She says this is just the latest in a series of targeted attacks on Chad.
Guys was spitting on him on the bus and treating him any kind of way that because of his transgender in life or what he want to be.
Okay, so the first part, Jade, is that these incidences are continual, and even her grandmother can attest to the bullying she's experiencing in school, for one. The fact that this same news outlet had sensationalized the first incident that happened at Deerfield Middle School regarding Jade being beat and jumped on the schoolyard by her peers is for two, Miss J. Okay? And then for three, if you listen further in, then the reporter asked her what was being said while she was being beat. And it was all of these trans and queer slurs, along with them telling her to keep that gay shit away from them.
And also, wait, hold up. And also, this is another example why the fuck you don't bring your ass into a goddamn conversation, not knowing what the fuck is going on. It ain't gonna have the nerve talk about something. I'm the strongest ally you know. This the fuck shit that we be this the fuck shit we be talking about.
Hold on. No, it's not just Jay asking a motherfucking question. The stupid ass, ragged muffin head ass motherfucker came in here talking about trying to put a false equivalency on why the LGBT community uses the term fish. Then what the fuck does the term fish have to do with hate crimes against LGBT folk? What the fuck does a term of endearment that is largely used in queer spaces and queer culture where you cis dominant motherfuckers love to be have to do with prejudice and hate crimes committed against LGBT folk, particularly LGBT youth in this instance? Like, it's literally the lack of hooked on phonics. Like, I see you got the phonics, but you didn't get the hooked part right. Jay, you need to get hooked on that phonics, baby. Addicted to that phonics, baby. Just at a baseline for comprehension. The hooked. Let's emphasize the hooked on phonics part, okay? Now I'm really not going to deal with your motherfucking ass. So if you can't sit your ass up in the nosebleeds and just simply shut the fuck up, I will have one of my moms to dump your motherfucking ass off into the river, never to be seen a goddamn again, because I don't give a fuck about your presence here today. So you can pick a side.
And this is the fuck shit that we're talking about. That fucking look, my point is many gays are beaten for things like trying to out harass. So like, here's the fuck shit that gets me. Here's the fuck shit that gets me. No. I want her. I don't know. Wait, let me get her. Because here's the fuck shit.
Because see, I'm gonna end up. Because I'm really trying to. Because see, I'm not gonna give this that no more. I'm not gonna give it that no more. Because see, I know that this is what the intention is, and see, I'm not gonna even let it do that to me, because it ain't even worth it. It's not worth it. A motherfucker like this ain't worth it. A trailer park dwelling ass motherfucking bitch like this ain't motherfucking worth it. Okay? Yeah. So I'm not gonna go ham tonight because a worthless ass bald head motherfucker in the chat ain't got nowhere else to be at 10:55 p.m. on a Saturday night. But here taking up unnecessary space with unnecessary, irrelevant ass talking points about a circumstances where she can't even understand the false equivalency between a term of endearment and open discrimination against a trans woman.
Girl. And it's the fact that this is the fuck shit that we be talking. I'm sorry, Conscious, because the thing about it, I ain't there yet. And I'm just gonna be honest, I ain't there yet. I wanna. Let me tell you something. Here's the thing that gets me. You said that many gays are beaten for things like trying to out. But however, This is the hypocrisy that I was literally talking about on a completely different live. Where the fuck, when it comes down to trans persons or queer people, all of a sudden that exposing shit we can't fuck with. But however, we live for a Kim Kardashian. Oh, but however, we love a Jocelyn Hernandez. We love her on the TV screen. We love a Monica motherfucking Lewinsky around this bitch. We love all that shit. But allow one of the men to sit up there. Oh, we love an Erica Mena. That was perfect. I love an Erica Mena. We love a Celine Powell, Superhead. We love all these quote unquote IG thoughts and all these motherfucking superheads that's running through the industry and they go to tell their goddamn story. But however, if those men were to sit up there and actually do something horrible to those particular women, we would not see no justification for putting their hands and actually terminating them. But however, this the fuck shit that we talk about. Y'all like to make excuses for why trans people in particular are very much disposable.
They make the exception.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get in this chat bringing in no fucking hypothetical and something that's not relevant, because the hate and the abuse against this trans woman has been well documented by media, by the school system, by her parents, and by her own bearing of witness. By her own testimonial. I don't give a damn if trans women outed every motherfucking nigga, because you cis women do not expect to end up dead because you out a motherfucker for cheating on your ass, because you out a motherfucker for having several mistresses, because you out a motherfucker for having a little dick and a credit score of 400. Okay? I don't give a fuck about what the fuck trans woman exposed, because you cis women don't expect a motherfucking thing to happen to you when you out here running it down on a motherfucking nigga. Spilling all of his motherfucking tea, like Miss Erica Mena just did a few months ago when she decided to tell all of Instagram that Safari like being fucked with dildos up his ass. And oh, hold on, Miss Jade is here. Well, she was here. She must have got shipped in the back chat. If she comes up here, do you want to deal with her?
Yeah, I want to deal with her. I want her
because she don't get to speak to me. So Miss Jade, you hit the link, re-hit that link, and come get your ass slayed and laid, fried, dyed, and laid to the motherfucking side. Hit the link again, and I'm gonna let King LGBT get on your motherfucking ass tonight, and you and him can have a one-on-one, okay? But I don't give a damn, because see, all of that shit is transphobic justifications. Well, she lied. She should have told him. Yeah, well, you should have told him that was silicone in your titties too, cis woman. You should have told him that your bra was padded, cis woman. You should have told him too that those were booty pads and not the way your ass really sits in them jeans too, Miss Mamas, okay? You should have told him that the several layers of makeup that got you looking like Beyonce actually in all reality leaves you naturally looking like Celie and Miss Oprah Winfrey when it all comes off. Okay, so once again, stop making the fucking exception for trans women doing the same motherfucking shit that cis women do, and thinking that you're really up here talking some shit and slaying some shit and rocking the boat with some shit and really leading the charge, baby, and telling it like it is. Because when cis women deceive by her appearance, when cis women run down and expose these niggas for all the crumb shit they do, you would never stand behind that same man then pulling the trigger on her ass for spilling his secrets. See, it be the covert transphobia for me. It be the underlying subtle transphobia for me when y'all get into justifying why trans women deserve to be fucking dead and hung and lynched in the streets. And you sound just like those same ratchet ass respectability politics that also tells a woman that she deserves to be sexually assaulted because of what she got on.
Get into it.
Or that black boy who was walking down the street minding his motherfucking business in a hoodie and his pants sagging deserved to have been arrested. He should have did better. He should have known better than to look like that. He should have known better than to walk out the house looking like a thug. Then he wouldn't have been treated like a thug.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it so fascinating how y'all like that privilege is so blinding. The double standards are so profound and extreme, and the privilege comes so natural to y'all that y'all don't even see it. Y'all don't even catch your own contradiction. Y'all let that shit fly out of y'all fucking open throats like it ain't no motherfucking tomorrow, not understanding that you just contradicted everything to the right to say what you just said to the left. That you just threw everything to the right out, just say what you just said all the way to the left. Because that's how fucking stupid privilege be having you motherfucker sounding. Like a straight up walking contradiction. For every way y'all can justify the deaths and the beating of same gender loving people and or trans women, we could turn around and justify every time a bullet get put in you motherfuckers' heads. For every motherfucking death, every beating, every lynching, every assault that you can justify in regards to queer folk, we can do the same thing for cis woman and cis man. The same thing. The arguments work both ways. Well, you shouldn't have came out here and blasted all that man's infidelity, baby. And then maybe your grandmama would not have had to put together a fish fry at the church house for your burial fund.
They don't want to hear that.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have raised your voice at that man.
Y'all see how crazy that sounds?
And then he would have never thrown you out of the window and off the rooftop. Okay? You should have known better. You should know that a man is stronger than you. You should know that a man has natural aggressions that allow him to communicate with his fists rather than with his words.
Because that masculinity.
Every motherfucking time y'all justify some bullshit happening to trans women or to queer folk, I want you to understand that the same respectability politics and the same ignorant ass bullshit can be argued in defense of why your ass ain't here as a cis woman, or why your ass ain't here as a cis man, or why your ass ain't here as a cis hetero man or woman. The same fucking arguments can be fucking made. So maybe that helps you to understand how fucking stupid some of you sound when you get up in these conversations about queer folk.
Once again, we hate the white people, but we love their power structures. We love their hierarchies, don't we? And we see how the contradiction just a slap her right in the face. Well, they must have did something wrong. We don't know all of the details, all of these things, but you have people literally up here saying what's going on. Then on top of that, guess what? This is not the first incident. And then your privilege is sitting up here speaking through your gums. Reason being is because you're sitting up here talking about exposing, but we glorify the exposing. We eat that up in the blogs. What happened with Erica Mena? What happened with Mimi Faust and freaking Jocelyn? What happened with what's that man of the Love and Marriage Huntsville? Martell. What happened with Nene Leakes and her husband now? They was living in the box. We ate that up. So what happened? So do all of these women deserve to be terminated? I don't believe so. I don't believe that's the correct response.
But if trans women deserve to be terminated, then so does every other individual exposing.
Come on now. That's your logic, and you sound stupid.
Just keep in mind, if you believe that trans women should be dead in some way, that they should pay penalties some way, somehow for not disclosing a man or for not outing or for outing a man, then we're going to have to justify all the outing and the consequences thereof that cis woman participates in.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, y'all love to make the exception for trans folk because the reality is most of this society is simply transphobic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you find clever ways to be transphobic. You find clever ways to sound transphobic. You find clever ways to hold transphobic ideas and politics, and then think that nobody won't see through the bullshit.
It's just mutated. That's all it
It's
is.
call me Windex, baby. Okay, because you're never getting past me, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 ever will. Okay, Anya, and then Sexy Slim.
I'm triggered. I'm so triggered that I'm just I'm tired of the hypocrisy. I'm tired of the privilege. I'm tired of the victim shaming. I'm just tired of all this bullshit. I'm so tired. It to me don't even matter that it was a child. It's just the fact that this is a human being. And I just don't understand why we have to the privilege. Why do we have to feel like justifying this bullshit? At the end of the day, the same rights that we fight for, the same rights that we demand, they are entitled to as well. I'm tired of it. I don't even like to say they because I don't like the separation of it all. These are my brothers and my sisters. And I'm just tired. I know what it feels like. I got jumped when I was by the whole 5th to 6th grade. I was in the 5th grade. I got jumped by the entire 5th to 6th grade. And I can just imagine what this young lady is experiencing. Like, I can't even compare what I experience to what she's experiencing because this is something daily. I'm so damn tired. Every time I go on social media, turn the TV on, I'm seeing a trans woman. You know, and it's so crazy to me because it's our community. It's our own people that is being slaughtered by us. By us. Like, we literally have raised monsters. They are like fucking animals. And if we think that the parents give a fuck, they obviously don't give a fuck because they're teaching this to these children. And these children turn up and grow up and turn out to be fucking criminals. And then we get mad when the police beat their asses. It's like we just don't take no accountability for a damn thing. The problem starts with us. It starts with us. And I'm just tired. Like, when I tell you my spirit is literally tired, I am fucking tired. I am fucking tired. I really don't even have no words other than to tell y'all that I am tired. This shit is sickening. We always want to complain about what the fucking Mayo people do to us. What the fuck are we doing to ourselves?
But you know what's so funny, Anya, is that that sorry ass motherfucker who was in the chat earlier trying to derail the conversation wants to poke holes and question the nature of these attacks, etc. You know what's so funny about the dominant class? The dominant class never actually sees trans women deceive anybody. They never also ever see queer folk antagonize dominant society and bring about violence done to them. But what stupid, ignorant, dominant class motherfuckers like the one who was in the chat do see every day is homophobia. That's what you do see. You know motherfuckers are homophobic. You've been in school. You've heard the gay slurs. You saw how the gay boy was treated. You saw how the gay girl was treated. You saw how the effeminate guy was treated. Even if it wasn't a situation that was close to home, like in your family, in your household, etc., you've bared witness to explicit homophobia in this society, period. You've gone to church like the rest of us, and you've heard the rhetoric. You've opened up your Bibles, and you've seen the anti-queer politics in the so-called scriptures. That's what you do see. That's what we do know, you know. And it's just an unmitigated gall to literally double down on questioning something that at this point, once again, has been well documented by the school system, well documented by the media. But this is the second time they stepped in to deal with this trans girl being bullied, being bashed, being beaten, and well documented and experienced by her grandmother, who has had to deal with the onslaught of abuse that she's dealing with in the public school system. And yet, dominant class have the nerve. And see, it's just, and this is why I can't waste my time on stupid motherfuckers like this, because they're intentional agents of chaos. Everybody in this society, both same gender loving people, both trans people and dominant class alike, have seen and witnessed and maybe even have participated in queerphobia. This is what we know to be a fact. A fact. This is what we know. Matter of fact, keep talking. I'm gonna pull something up while you talking. Continue to unload, and then I'm gonna get to Slim.
It's just really triggering, and we have to be honest. We have to be honest. Cut the bullshit out. Just stop. Be honest. We have all taken part in this in some way, in some form, or some fashion. It is okay to see your flaws and to correct yourself. If it was somebody's child that this happened to, somebody's loved one, you guys would literally like. But you know what that tells me? Y'all literally don't even love y'all people. Like, y'all don't love yourselves, because to think that this shit is acceptable, I don't give a flying fuck what was done that make anybody feel that this was justified. It's not justified. It is not justified to wake up and read or whatever time of the day and see that there's another transgender woman being killed somewhere because of the choices she made. That when we make the same fucking choices, we choose to lie and deceive motherfuckers all day, every day too. Let's keep it 100. That privilege shit is just tired and sickening. It is so sickening. And I just don't get it. I just really just don't get it. Why the fuck we think that it is fucking okay for this to happen to somebody else? But God forbid if it happens to us or somebody that we fucking personally know, then the motherfucker, you want everybody to get out here and motherfucking protest. You want motherfuckers to get out here and motherfucking make some noise. And you want, you know what I'm saying? You want the support of people. No, it is fucking sickening. And for me to even think that a man, obviously the fucking, whoever the men are in this family, don't motherfucking give a fuck about this young lady. They clearly don't give a fuck about him, because why the fuck aren't you there anyway? So that lets me know they are heavily influenced in transphobia. Why the fuck do we feel like it's okay for us to motherfucking live and do anything that we want to motherfucking do, but the next motherfucker can't? Y'all say these niggas is sorry any motherfucking way. So why the fuck do we feel some kind of way and feel like it's justifiable for somebody because of their sexual orientation or identity? We think it's motherfucking okay for them to motherfucking get abused and motherfucking fatally motherfucking taken out of this motherfucking world. When we say these niggas ain't shit any motherfucking way, let all they asses get motherfucking tricked. They trick our asses too. Grow the fuck up and stop motherfucking playing these games. Motherfucker, live in your motherfucking truth. If you don't motherfucking like it, say I don't fucking like it, but don't play with the semantics and try to pretend that whole I'm a motherfucking ally. You're not a fucking ally. You are a part of the problem. I'm on mute.
Okay, baby. Hear me roar on you. A fucking man. And I just want to, for everybody who just need to know how much of a historical precedent there is for transphobia and homophobia, especially perpetuated against not only adult LGBT folk, but adolescent, child, LGBT folk, just Google is your best friend, baby. All I had to type in was child beat for being gay. And guess what? 30 million results on Google alone. Let's read some of this. Let's just click some of these stories, okay? Atlantic police, okay, this is courtesy of 11alive.com. Atlanta police announced 3 arrests related to video of 12-year-old boy being beaten verbally and abused. The boy was removed from the home last month following the incident. Some of y'all may remember this case of the male. I remember we spoke about this incident, and activist Black trans woman Hope Giselle had got involved to get the boy out of the home, to get resources provided for the child while there was an investigation going on. Okay, is this the video right here? Let's listen to this. I forgot all about this story. There are so many at this point.
Developing tonight at 11, 3 people accused of child abuse in Atlanta have had their first court appearance over Zoom. We're not showing their identities to protect the victim. Thanks for joining us. I'm Natisha Lance. This is all tied to a video that went viral showing a 12-year-old boy being beaten and verbally abused, apparently by family members. It also showed the word gay cut into the side of his hair. 11 Alive's Chanu Her has the story all new tonight.
Someone has to help. This is not okay. Activist and Atlanta City Council candidate Larry Carter still remembers how he felt when he saw this video on social media last month. A 12-year-old boy named Tyler repeatedly hit in the head and threatened with more violence. The word gay was shaved into his head as a punishment. When I first saw the video, I became quite emotional. I shared it with my mother. She was there for my experiences that I went through in my youth. It actually brought a tear to my eye. That's why Carter is now relieved to know APD has made arrests and charged these 3 adults in connection to the actions seen on video. 2 of the people, Lokila Jamia Spencer and Brittany Monique Mills, are charged with cruelty to children. Jordan Gerard Richards Nwanko is facing the same charge along with battery. APD says community members helped investigators track down the suspects.
When you see a young person being abused like this, and just so unnecessary, it was difficult to watch. And I think for a lot of the investigators, it was the same way. It really it was an emotional case.
Police say Tyler was removed from the home the day after investigators found out about the video. He was placed in the care of the Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services. Carter says he's thankful APD investigators never gave up on the case because it sends a strong message to other LGBTQ youth in the city.
I know that it's important that we focus on keeping our youth safe. I really wanted him to know that there are people out there that care and want him to feel safe, welcomed, and wanted.
So y'all out there so paranoid talking about the goddamn gay agenda, we're not going to talk about the straight agenda that's leading to these transphobes and homophobes beating, hurting, abusing, murdering, abandoning, neglecting, torturing queer folk. We're not going to talk about the systemic and historical president of the straight agenda, because this is what the straight agenda. This is the straight agenda. Carving gay into the side of a young LGBT kid's head and making him fight in the front yard for his manhood, to prove his masculinity. Well, let's go to journalism.com that reported on before his death, 10-year-old Anthony Avales came out as gay, officials say. But y'all also say that kids shouldn't know anything about orientation. Well, unfortunately, that's what y'all say. The truth is, self-awareness can start at any age that there's enough cognitive development in a young person. They can be aware of what they want to do for the rest of their life. Mommy, I want to be a dancer. Mommy, I want to be a basketball player. Mommy, I want to be a ballerina. Mommy, I want to be an astronaut. Mommy, I like vanilla. Mommy, I like strawberries. Mommy, I like pinto beans. And guess what? They may also be aware that they're same-sex attracted. Now, that may go against everything that you may know, okay? But the reality is, okay, because we got to deal with reality. We got to deal with truth, okay, in order to really have access to justice. That this is simply not the way that it works. Young people are aware of many things about themselves at various ages and stages in development, okay? Nonetheless, 10-year-old Anthony Abalis came out as gay, officials say. Anthony Abalis came out as gay in recent weeks, and authorities are now investigating whether homophobia played a role in the death of the 10-year-old Lancaster boy, a county official said. Anthony was found mortally wounded at his home last week with severe head injuries and cigarette burns covering his 10-year-old body. Brandon Nicholas, whatever it is, deputy director of the LA County Department of Children and Family Services, revealed in an interview Monday that Anthony said he liked boys, but declined to provide more details, including whom the boy told and when. Nicholas said the criminal investigation of the deadly abuse is ongoing. Anthony's aunt, Maria Barron, said it would have taken great courage for Anthony to have announced he was gay in the home. Anthony's mother, Heather Barron, and her boyfriend, Kareem Lavia, have not been charged with any crimes related to Anthony's death. DCFS has determined that Anthony probably died from child abuse. Neither Lavelli or Barron responded to requests for comment. So their child was viciously tortured and murdered, and yet they weren't even arrested nor charged. The aunt said she began alerting DCFS in 2015 when she noticed bruises and other injuries that the children told her were caused by Lavia, the boyfriend. She said the children also reported Lavia locking them in small spaces where they had to urinate and defecate on the floor. Lavia was convicted in 2010 of domestic abuse. For the boy to have come out amid those circumstances only reinforces how brave Anthony was, Maria Barron said, his grandmother. Heather Barron and Lavia were the subject of at least 16 calls since 2013 from school administrators, a teacher, a counselor, family members, and others to DCFS and police alleging child abuse, sources told The Times for an article. And despite all of this, despite their own child literally, obviously dying from wounds that were inflicted, and the fact that they were subjected to 16 calls from Child Protective Services, yet they weren't charged, penalized, or indicted, and considering the fact that the boyfriend had a prior record for domestic violence, and the living children are attesting to being tormented by their mother and the boyfriend, yet no arrests were made, baby. Girl, let's just keep on rolling, baby. Okay, this is from pinknews.com UK. 3 charged for horrifically abusing 12-year-old boy because he did gay shit. Okay, look at these 3 motherfuckers. I hope that this fucking band-aid on this whole face came from the fact that this child scratched, slithered, ninchucked her motherfucking ass up before he transitioned. 3 people have been arrested on child cruelty charges after video footage was circulated online showing a 12-year-old boy being abused for doing gay shit. Jordan Gerard Ricoles, 18 years of age, Laura Keela Jamia Spencer, 19 years of age, and Brittany Monique Mills. Oh, this is the same situation. This is the boy with the young boy who got the word gay carved into his motherfucking head. Rightfully so. And I hope that they're all having many LGBT experiences in the fucking penitentiary. Hold on, my goddamn computer is acting like a goddamn hoe. Hold on. Because I just want y'all to just get a little glimpse. Okay? It's a little glimpse at just how much shit goes on. Okay? Let me see. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Let's continue to do it, girl. Let's continue to do it, girl. Let's continue to investigate the straight agenda, baby. Okay? All right. Here it is. Woman pleads guilty. Okay? This is NBCnews.com. Woman pleads guilty in murder of son, 8 years old, thought to be gay. Gabrielle Fernandez died in 2013 after being routinely beaten and starved at the hands of his mother and her boyfriend. You guys probably remember this story. This was national. It got a Netflix documentary. absolutely heartbreaking and distraught, honey. Life-changing, okay? To even witness something like this, girl. If you're homophobic now, you probably won't be after getting into the Gabrielle Fernandez story. Shit was just completely heart-wrenching. The mother of Gabrielle Fernandez, 8-year-old Palmdale, California boy who died in 2013 after being routinely beaten and starved, pleaded guilty to first-degree murder on Thursday and admitted her son's death involved the infliction of torture. Under the terms of the plea deal, Pearl Fernandez, 34 years of age, is expected to be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, according to NBC Los Angeles. Her sentencing date is June 7th. Pearl Fernandez's boyfriend, Osoaro Aguri, 37 years of age, was convicted of first-degree murder in December. Jurors recommended the death penalty for his role in fatally torturing the young boy. Aguri is scheduled to be sentenced on March 8th. During Aguri's trial, Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney John Hatami called him an evil man who liked torture and said Aguri systemically abused Gabrielle Fernandez because Aguri thought the young boy was gay. Simply thought he was, hell. Didn't even have to be confirmed. There didn't even need to be any empirical evidence. Just the notion alone, just the belief that he was gay contributed to his death, his murder under this hate crime. The case is reminiscent of the November murder of 14-year-old Giovanni Milton, whose dad, Wendell Milton, allegedly shot and killed him because he could not accept his son's sexuality. The Nevada teen's former foster mother, Sonja Jones, told NBC's Las Vegas affiliate that Giovanni Milton was abused physically and mentally and spiritually for many, many years, and said she believes Wendell Milton killed his son because of the boy's orientation. How much you need? These niggas will get up here and talk about the gay agenda, the gay agenda, the gay agenda. Let's talk about the pervasive straight agenda that literally kills, tortures, emasculates, beats, and destroys the lives of LGBT folk psychologically, spiritually, physically, emotionally. I don't ever want to hear the word gay agenda, because if there ever is a goddamn agenda, there needs to be one. And it's the whole the hetero agenda, fully fucking accountable. Because that's what the gay agenda is. Fucking accountability.
You know what I think is interesting? Is how they always talk about this gay agenda. But however, if you actually go by their logic, they're actually contributing to the gay agenda. Because the thing is, their logic is that a lot of times when these men go to jail, all they got to do is suck a little dick and get fucked. Then they end up being homosexual or, for their logic, trans. But however, aren't y'all the main ones that promote shit for people to go to jail? Aren't y'all already targeted by the system? But yet you guys engage into activities that's gonna most definitely, but since it's perfect too. Because you remember the other commentary we had about quote unquote women should dress accordingly, not to heighten their chances. So I believe that it's very interesting that a lot of men got their ass on that motherfucking panel and said that fuck shit. But however, and I'll say this all with love, but this is gonna be a righteous ass whooping. Y'all got your ass on that motherfucking panel to say that fuck shit, that a woman should not dress a certain way because it's going to heighten her chances of being targeted. But yet you guys will sit up there, engage in illegal activities, will engage in gun violence, engage in gang activity, engage in domestic violence, they quote unquote physically discipline your women, but then be very surprised at the consequences of a fucking system that's already targeting your stupid ass. And then guess what? You end up right in jail. To your logic now, suck a little dick, getting fucked, and guess what? Now you're gay or trans. That's the way y'all think about it. So how the fuck you get mad about a motherfucking agenda that your ass sitting up here contributing to, stupid bitch? Dumbasses.
Does anybody else have anything that they want to add to the discussion before we wrap up?
Hello again. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby.
I'll go with Chocolate Earth because I got the same energy that go with Chocolate.
You know what? I want to first apologize. I said a lot of curse words. But however, I still feel the way that I feel. Our community is in fucking ruins. Oops. So sorry. I had a little too much to drink tonight. But I watch the news, right? My mom used to say, how can you keep watching all this stuff? I watch the news from everywhere, from every city, major city, in the rural area, whatever, because it all ties together. And I want to share this information with y'all. When we talk about and discuss change, I am talking about not just building a community, but building a community also leads to power. The kind of power to change laws, the kind of power to change how things are done for people. We see it every day. Like I said, we spent $1.6 trillion as a Black community during a pandemic. And they said we were short 11 million. We went down by $11 million. Now, I say that because it all ties in, whether people want to believe it or not. The reason why you go to a particular state or you live in a particular area and the laws are set up the way that they are and the police act the way they do, it starts at the top. Do you know who your state representative is? No, we don't see them until it's time for them to be reelected. We don't know these people. We don't know if they have our interests in mind because we act like we don't have to worry about it. But we do. This is why we have no protections. We don't have an agenda, Black people, because we don't say shit. We talk a lot of shit, but we don't say the truth. It's insane to me that we're still doing the same shit thinking we're going to get a different result. And I have a soft spot, more like a, I guess, lioness spot when it comes to children. Because they're our future and we act like we don't need to do something about it. Who you waiting on? Jesus? Jesus, we waiting because Jesus gonna come back and fix it all. Jehovah coming back to fix it all. Like we don't have no choice or mental capacity because we've been given it. You can make decisions, ideas. You benefit from other human ideas, but yet and still, when it comes to our community, it is a dream to protect our own, take care of our own. Other communities do it. And again, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm not trying to change nobody's word. I am not trying to be Michael Jackson, man in the mirror. I am trying to be honest. That if we don't, those who do, and those who don't, leave their asses where they are. I don't care about them. Because people are going to do what they want to do. And some people just love to stand in hatred. So, again, to the community, I am in sorrow always. I don't jump up and down and say, oh, I'm an ally. I don't need to say that. I want it to be shown with my words and my actions. So, that's all I have to say.
Thank you for that, Chocolate Earth, Anya and E.
I love y'all. That's all I love y'all. That's all I got for y'all right now. I'm gonna drop down.
You and y'all too. It's crazy out here.
For me, the final words, I guess, would just be, being kind. to one another. I think within our community, I was listening to what Earth said about building, and yes, we do have to build. Yes, we in order there has to be cohesive language, and we should be able to get along in order to come up with a Black agenda. I believe I heard Earth say that there's no Black agenda. I just don't. I don't think that's something that's going to be feasible going forward. I hate to be the pessimistic voice on the panel. I just don't see how unity will be in the near future. I think the message for me should be be kind to everyone, but also be prepared. Be prepared to defend yourself. I think it's better that you walk away than for somebody to get the upper hand on you, and then you're unable to walk away. I am a big believer in the Second Amendment. I believe in standing your ground, especially for women and minority groups, LGBT, trans. Do not be beaten. Like, do not allow yourselves to be beaten. I think that's just my biggest takeaway based upon everything that we've seen, even with the children. I think I know that Reckless said that he is familiar with this area. He went to school in the area that we saw with Chad earlier. And I know some people will probably kind of squint their eyes at me a little bit, but I think children should be, especially LGBT kids, they should be equipped, and little girls, to defend themselves in these neighborhoods, because you just never know. So I'll just leave it at that.
I agree. I thank you ladies for coming up, and thank y'all for being affirming and empathetic and protective, and for sympathizing and empathizing. It means a lot. And I agree with both Chocolate Earth that we gonna have to build our way out of this shit, for those of us who are on the same page, and for those of you, and for those of us who are like-minded, that we're gonna have to start literally buying up land and creating spaces where we can have our own versions of damn community, and our own suburbs, and our own countrysides, and our own whatever. And we're gonna have to start investing in literally building our way out of this shit. And if we gotta create it ourselves and put together those efforts. And I also agree with you, E, that we're gonna have to be very preventative. I just don't know how we're going to overcome the education barrier, because there are so many Christian identifying Black folk who don't want to be educated on the issue, and they barely even want to accept their queer
conscious. Don't worry about them.
Orientation.
Don't worry about them.
I'm worried about them because of the kids that we just read about, that people, these children are literally dying and being tortured. These youths are driving. Even the young girl, a part of this story right now, she's suffering through suicidal ideation, and we don't even have the luxury of knowing whether, because this is a Black trans woman, whether they're even getting her hurt, or getting her proper psychological help, or whether they're shoving her into the church as a substitute, because we know that that's what Black people have generally yielded to for our pain. There's a lot of crazy shit, sunken place shit that's going on in these situations, particularly when it comes to Black and brown queer folk. And I'm curious to know how the grandmother's handling that. I'm curious to know what resources, what mental health resources she has, if the grandmother even believes in psychology and believes in therapy, or whether she thinks that
why is he asking me about going live?
Oh, I am, but we had to just.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, but we're gonna definitely get into that. But I didn't even want to have that conversation a part of this conversation, because I already knew that the mood was gonna be crazy as hell. This was gonna be a wild commentary, but we definitely got to have that conversation. I'm gonna be coming back on tomorrow, so me and you can get together. And
are you talking to me? I'm so sorry. You're talking to me, right?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Mm-hmm.
Listen, okay, I apologize. I'm not trying to make a joke, but I swear I thought I had muted myself, right? When I was talking about someone else that was texting me on my phone. So I I apologize. But yes, I want to get with you tomorrow. Whenever, just hit me up. I have been pretty like busy just all week. So I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm there. And it's like, and I'm gonna say this. I understand what you were saying, E. I understand completely, babe. But see, here's the part that we miss.
Many people who don't have access to that because that world hasn't existed yet, and so in the interim of this fully manifesting and being made available to everybody else, all of this shit is what we got to deal with in the right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about right now. Not a pipe dream, not a throw down the street dream. I'm talking about right now. There are things that I am hoping that if I'm blessed with the grants and the different things I need, you can throw a house up. You can throw a building up. It's not that serious. The land already has water, electricity. It is time to be safe. And we can. I agree with you, Pepsi. Education. It is the same way we have been turned into workers for the society. They groomed us. Stop. Come on. That's all. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't understand. It's like people can't see the forest for the trees. And there are no trees in our way. There is none whatsoever. The government would love for us to be able to take care of ourselves. And I'm not just talking off the side of my neck. You can go look this up. You've got the world at your fingertips. You can ask any question you need. I don't have time to blow gas up nobody's butt. So I'm just saying to you, we are unsafe. And I want to do, and I am doing something about it. And those allies, those people who will do it, and it's a movie, but it's the truth. If you build it, they coming. Those who know, and there are plenty of people in this country that are Black and whatever their lifestyle, their identification, however, they work together. We doing it right now. It's not that hard. I know we scared, but I'm tired of this. This is ridiculous. These are children. I'm hurt. I can't help it. I'm just hurt because would feel the same way with any child. Go look at ID. Go look at some documentaries. It is not okay out here. So I'm done. Thank you, Conscious, for having this conversation.
I'm gonna contact you tomorrow before I get things going, so we can
baby.
We can coordinate and everything tomorrow.
That sounds good. Great, thank you. Reckless. Good night, E. Good night.
Good night.
Y'all have a good one. And and stay safe. Much love.
And drink and throw one more down for us, baby. Drink another swallow for all of us.
Listen, I'm about to finish it out. We about to go and finish it out. Yeah. I work better that way.
Amen. I ain't mad at it.
I'm sorry. Shit, you let her go. I wanted to say one thing to her. I'm sorry, Conscious. Can I have 20 seconds, please?
Huh?
Can I have 20 seconds?
Oh yeah, you good. You good.
I understood what Earth was saying, and I feel all of that. But I just wanted to push back a little bit when she said the government would love for us to take care of ourselves. The white people do not want us to take care of ourselves, because when we were attempting to branch off and take care of ourselves, they destroyed it. Okay, if we're making money and we're self-sufficient and we no longer need them, they're going to find a way to insert themselves. They're going to find a way to take pieces of it. They do not want us to be independent because it's not beneficial to the process. that in order for the American economic system to work, you have to have workers. So that they want to keep us right where we are. But to close out, because I only asked for 20 seconds, I do want the confidence within the conversation to change. I guess I would like to see that when we are having these discussions. I know a lot of people come up and they apologize before they're getting ready to tell their truth. I think when the truth can be uncomfortable, but I don't think people need to come up and apologize. And I know Reckless apologized and he says, I apologize. What I'm getting ready to say may not come out right. No, fuck that. It comes out the way that it's supposed to. It needs to come out just as strong as you feel it. And I feel like that's what bridges people to meet you where you are. You know what I mean? But I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see you all next time.
Thank you so much, E. I appreciate you, love.
Bye.
Babu, I as an empath, these discussions they can become exhausting, especially when they're being had consistently. We just came out of battling it out with patriarchy in the male community as it relates to men wanting the right to beat on damn women and men wanting to suggest that a woman is asking to be assaulted when she's dressed provocatively or revealing, and then to have this shit come about with the trans youth. It is just like, I'm so sick of it. And honestly, I don't trust cis hetero men. Like, I just don't. At this point, I don't even trust the so-called good ones. A lot of these so-called good cis hetero men only want to fucking shout that shit when the conversations are being had by the damn victims, but you don't see them ever passionately crying aloud and holding accountable their own fucking community, unless it's because we're leading the conversations first, as if you don't see the shit in the headlines either, as if y'all don't recognize and see what's happening, but then only want to chime in and just make sure that you get to say, not me, looks like doing whatever the fuck you can regarding the fucking issue. Okay, everybody disappeared just now. Including Reckless. I don't trust men's community. This shit is crazy out here. It's crazy out here. It's wild out here. I stand behind minority folk, like E says. Black women, Black trans women, LGBT folk, protect yourselves. We are prey in this system. We are prey in this system. We are disposable in this system. We are replaceable in this system. We are the intellectual property of this system if you let it tell it. If you let it tell it, we are not seen as humans. We are not seen as human beings in this system. We are tools of warfare and tools of gratification and exploitation for this system. This system does not like Black women. This system hates Black men, but Black men are stupid enough to participate. Black cis hetero men specifically are stupid enough to participate in this fucking system and double down on it rather than join everybody else in solidarity. So it looked like we're going to have to seize this kingdom by force. So when we go to address these issues, we have to do it with passion and fire. And we can take no shit and take no prisoners. We can make no space for any bit of it because it's all dangerous. Minority folk, particularly everybody who is a child of the divine feminine, women, trans women, LGBT folk, two-spirited folk, arm yourself. I'm going to look into what I can do to suggest or pass bills or legislations. I know that people do this every day. I need to figure out how to actually get into this shit, get into these laws to to get laws before Congress. I am going to be looking into how to start a bill, how to get a bill passed, because there need to be legislation in place regarding all these fucking issues. Since we're talking about the trans issue today, the queer issue today, these parents of these juveniles need to be charged. That is the only way that things are going to change, is if they change at the head. Because children are going to be what's demonstrated to them. If they live in households where mom and dad is homophobic and abusive and injurious and othering and marginalizing as rhetoric and ideology is pervasive in the household, then you damn right that youth is going to go out and treat people according to how they're being taught to treat them. Nothing is going to change until what's going on in the household, until the conversations in the household are more balanced. Like, yes, these are our Christian values, but motherfucker, if I ever hear you acting in any other kind of way other than Jesus, other than like Jesus to people, I'm going to beat your ass with the same Bible. Okay? Yes, as Christians, we believe this, we don't believe that. Like, I can't even get into changing people's minds. It's fine. Believe what you want to believe. Okay? But it's clear that there's no consequences, or there's no balance to the conversation that's happening in the household about LGBT folk. It's just all injurious. It's just all a prejudice. So these kids are not hearing any other balance. They're just hearing all the ugly shit. They're doing the devil's work. These people are going to hell. These people got spirits. I mean, you're literally revving up the fear around queer folk. And then you expect your teenagers and your youth to be comfortable around queer folk while you're in a household telling them that queer folk are possessed and queer folk got demons and queer folk but yet you expect them to be able to sit in class and to share the sliding board and to share the cafeteria with folk that you got them fearing, got them supernatural evil beings inside of them. Make fucking sense. You think that young people are mature enough to separate rum from the fucking other? These parents ain't gonna do no better until the goddamn police is at their door to arrest them and they goddamn children for the violence that's being had. And since these are so-called children, even teenagers, are the intellectual property of their damn parents until emancipation age, then the sins of the children should fall upon the motherfucking parents too. And I bet you the parents will be a bit more passionate and assertive. About those homophobic and transphobic views. I bet you that. So I'm gonna get out of here, and God bless Queen Tulsa. You guys, please send Queen Tulsa light and love. I mean, this just happened to her over the fucking weekend, where she went to a hotel and was beat for being trans. They found any way they could to get their transphobia out of them, whether it was using her being confused about something going on at the hotel, whether it was having a lot of questions, whether it was her not knowing something. They use any reason they can to get the queer phobia out of them. The queer phobia out of them. Anything. Any reason to get it up out of them. And she was beat unconscious by a man with dreads. Y'all make sure to send her love. Queer folk, strap the fuck up. Point, pump, and pull on these motherfuckers. If you at the age to carry, have a firearm responsibly, go and get proper training, And when a motherfucker want to come out with the wooden bats and want to lure you into a park or into a bathroom or into a parking lot or whatever it is, baby, point, pump, and motherfucking pull. Period. I'm out of this bitch. God bless this sick ass country. Later.